Welcome back to Market on Close. We got stocks trying to firm back up, generally seeing some buoyancy throughout the day as we started down. Mr. Kevin Green, what are the odds we get another ramp?
Look, the flows once again, and this is actually what occurred yesterday. Flows really don't see anything above that 6150 level here, Oliver, but anything's possible, right? Especially in an environment like this where we're seeing low equity volume, and we may have aggressive market on close orders that can kind of push us higher here. We did actually get really close to that 6150 level, got close around 6147 and then saw a little bit of a pullback. Now, we did see that red candle to the downside. That's more news driven. Bostic is speaking right now, so we had a little bit of a flush to the downside, hitting 61.35. We were in a channel for the better part of this morning until we actually broke out, and now kind of testing the upper end of that channel as a area of support, which we are now bouncing higher. And so if we are going to see some follow through, 61.50 once again is going to be a potential area for resistance. Could we go higher? For sure, but I don't see anything that says a lot of buyers are getting into the 61.60s or anything of that nature. Now, that could change on a dime, but right now it seems like that high strike of 6150 is really holding, and a lot of positioning there when it comes to short call positioning for the most part. Any type of breakdown, you want to hold 6115 for today, and it's not out of the realm of possibility getting back into that channel range for now. But what is actually very interesting, you are seeing a little bit of an uptick in put volume, Oliver, and actually some put buying activity, but a lot of it's actually spread. So under the service, you're starting to see the monthly options expiration positioning for some of these larger positions taking place, especially when you're looking at out of the money options. You're talking about around the 5,600 level, 5,700 level, which are still hedges. So you're seeing a little bit of a skew taking place on the put side, but nothing to be too concerned about. It seems more, once again, mechanical in nature, given the fact that we do have OPEX coming in the next 2 days.
Okay. It looks like a pretty good intraday chart, stair-step pattern, nice way to recover and find support. Hopefully it holds at least the progress we've made to at least to tack on a small gain. Right now, 20 basis points would be a nice extension, as we just don't want to break down, basically. It was such a tough road to get here. I think that anything we get that's not immediate weakness and reversal is pretty compelling.
Yeah, I would say so myself too. You know, the only interesting options flow that I did see to the upside that I'm just keeping my eye on here. There is actually some traders targeting the 62.75 calls expiring for this Friday. Once again, that might be, that obviously
like a reach.
There's some call selling that's taking place there too. So, but we know that once you have a lot of, call structure or selling pressure there, and if you don't have anything kind of in your way, that's where it can become a little bit more of a magnet. And obviously, we'll probably have to have a little bit of a catalyst there. I'm not saying that we're going to get there by this Friday, but it is something that's a little bit out of the norm when it comes to the stair-step pattern. You would look more towards the 6,200, 62.25s first, instead of going outright to the 62.75s. And in fact, they actually got some pretty decent premium at that level. So there are some players there, some market makers that are making a decent market on a premium basis up there. Given 2 days, you're talking about another 100, 125 points, which anything's possible.
Yeah, that would be big. If we were squeezed today, that would seemingly put anything into the realm of possibility up there, to 6,200 and beyond, because if we get squeezed to day 2 again, then you might get a little FOMO flows. Bitcoin's up today. Yesterday it was down. Stocks rallied anyway, but generally if BTC is positive, that seems to argue a little bit more, to the risk on side. But it still is pretty far away, that pack of call trading. So, and to your point, some selling as well. But I like the idea that, without a big negative catalyst, maybe that becomes kind of a magnet.
That could be the case. I would say that you are seeing some thematic type of names actually getting some flows, right? Supermicro had a hell of a run over the last couple of trading sessions.
Incredible.
HIMS is also doing a phenomenal job over the last couple of sessions as well. So there is a risk on tone taking place. What I do find very interesting, if we look at the longer time frame, and let's look at the E-mini S&P 500 chart here. Okay, we have a technical setup, and sometimes these setups, especially when you're looking at the open interest chart, getting above that 61.30 level is obviously going to be key. It seems like we want to kind of get there today. That would be considered a nice little breakout, but this is the E-mini S&P futures chart here. What you have now set up here, Oliver, is this inverse head and shoulders pattern. We brought this up maybe about 2 weeks ago or so, still developing that right shoulder. Now that right shoulder has been developed, and now you're actually breaching that neckline. That neckline is sitting at around 61.40 6150, 6155 or so. We close at these levels that we're at right now, 6158 or higher. That's actually a technical breakout of this inverse head and shoulders. We saw this actually in July of last year, a lot more aggressive when you're looking at July of last year, especially hitting some key areas when it comes to the moving averages here. But that breakout can be very aggressive. We can have these uptrending days for the next 4 days, 5 sessions. So keep that one on the radar. RSI is also going to be very interesting. You can see this channel type of pattern that's taking place. If we hit the upper end of that channel throughout this whole cycle to the downside, that has been a sell-off type of an event. When we hit the lower end of that channel, we saw some buyers kind of stepping in. No matter we are still making lower lows or lower highs, right? The action the next day or the next 2 days is really what matters when you're looking at the RSI. Today, we are actually hitting the threshold of the upper end of that channel now. We're hitting a resistance point. So do we see another pullback? Does that trend still stay intact, or do we break out of that channel for RSI and start moving higher? That RSI doesn't really readjust that dramatically. Usually once we do see a trend over the next 3 days or 4 days, it usually remains in that trend. And that's really what we've seen play out for the last month and a half, or actually almost 2 months now. So that's another one to keep on your radar. If you're a bull in this market, this breakout could be pretty significant here.
Okay. Love it. Love the chart. Nice little pent up energy that we got there. Let's see if it turns kinetic. Maybe we get a squeeze. Thanks, KG. Nice look at the charts. As always, good stuff.